There we are.
Oh, the Gainzcast is back. Sorry about the 2-week time off, but we're back. We're going hard. We should have. We should be able to get Friday in this week, and we should be able to get next week going on. And what's been going on with you, Alan?
Oh, we're just grinding away, dude. Normal stuff. Trying to stay not getting kicked off YouTube, things like that. The normal stuff.
Yeah, you might notice that episode 4 is we let it. So the thing is, like, I don't know where the boundaries are with YouTube, and now we do, because when you get a warning, they take down your video. And by the way, all of our episodes are live on Spotify with video too. So go to Spotify. I want all you guys to subscribe to Gainzcast on Spotify after this video is done. I will go ahead and link our Spotify in the comment section or whatever it is in the description box. And we definitely need to utilize Spotify, because I don't know how long YouTube's going to let us be on here.
It's so strange, man. Like, because my thing is, I'm not trying to convince anybody to not do anything physically. I just want people to be completely aware of what they got going on, And
okay, let me read the thing. It's medical misinformation. YouTube doesn't allow content that explicitly disputes the efficacy of local health authorities or World Health Organization guidance on social distancing, which, by the way, is science is questioning. I got to be careful what I say. And self-isolation to act against the guidance. So YouTube is essentially an arm of the federal government censoring people who question their narrative. That's exactly what this comment says, like medical misinformation. So if you even question the WHO, if you even question the World Health Organization, then you get censored. And that's scary, because YouTube has that exemption where they're basically a public platform. So by them being this basically puts them as, well, a government platform, which is scary, because we did not give medical information. We just gave ideas on how you can improve your immunity. And that's what's really, if you guys look, you liberals, you Democrats, you big government loving people, like, what happened to the Vietnam era liberals who were like, we don't trust the government, we hate the government, and now they're like, yep, censor people for providing different. We go out of our way to tell people that talk to your doctor and make your own decision based on what's best for you. And that's what's really crazy, is that we don't give medical information because we aren't doctors. But what we are health professionals, and Alan spent, I believe, 120 years in the health industry, right?
120, 130, somewhere. It seemed like that long, dude. No shit, it really did. Like, it really seemed that long. Yeah, I had something taken off not too long ago. I was on a little 2-week break from YouTube for a little bit, because I literally spoke about CDC information. Like right now on the CDC, it lists off how many people have passed away by age bracket, right?
Yeah.
And so it's under 65, it's 187,177 people that have unfortunately passed away of or with the pandemic. So we're gonna have to go back to code too, I think.
Oh yeah, we can't use I'm not using any words.
No words. No words
I'm
at
not
all.
talking.
That'll be a first for the both of us. But if you then look at it, so 187,177 people, that's as of November 10th, right? And then if you take 5.1% of that have died without underlying condition, just healthy people under the age of 65, right? That's less than 9,500 people. I'm in 2 years, and I'm not, and that's just numbers. If that is way too big of a number for you, okay. If it's way too small of a number for you, okay. All I'm saying is that is the numbers and what they say it is, and I just don't understand how we've gotten to the point where, man, like, what happened to being able to just sit around a room and debate about some topics? Like, that's the problem. We've turned off conversation with people,
Yeah, it's just scary that they're censoring one side and not the other. So if someone comes out and says everyone should get this medical procedure, then it is allowed. It is completely allowed, when we know that there are people with certain conditions, such as why am I blanking on it? But there are muscular dystrophy. They cannot get it. They, people with that Guillain-Barré syndrome or whatever, people like me who have potentially enlarged hearts and thicker blood, we cannot get it. But yet it's okay for someone to say everyone should get it or else you're killing people. But it's not okay for us to say, hey, if you can't get it, or if you just don't want to get it because you don't want something experimental in your body, then, hey, here's some options. And that is censored. And that's what's really scary. Like, we shouldn't have to, being that is a public information platform, we shouldn't have to mix our words up and use code language. It's absolutely absurd. But it also goes to show you how lucky we are to even have the internet, that they're able to censor us. Because back in the day, we didn't know how much, like the Tuskegee experiment. Imagine if we had Twitter.
Right.
Imagine if we had Twitter and they found out that the government was giving black people syphilis. Like, that would have been awesome. Not that they got syphilis. It would have been awesome that Twitter would have been like, whoa. Why are you giving black people syphilis?
And the crazy thing is, there's a lot of people that probably still, there's probably still a lot of people watching that don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
No, it's people watch. The problem is people watch tribally, right? Like Republicans watch Fox or Newsmax, which are just as bad as CNN or MSNBC. Very few people think for themselves and read all outlets. And if you read all outlets, if you actually look, you'll realize that the right sucks and the left is crazy. And that's the thing, is that there's no good source of information. There's no like one, okay, these guys got it. Like, there is no legit news anymore. What there is opinion. Like, Don Lemon is not news. Chris Cuomo, who I want to beat the shit out of, he's not news. Tucker Carlson is not news. Tucker Carlson is opinion. I agree with his opinion more than I don't, but he's opinion. Name one Walter Cronkite. Name one person who's actually giving us the news. You
mean on mainstream media?
Yeah, name one journalist who's actually a journalist who just reports the news in an unbiased fashion. One out of the entire country, every news channel. Name just one.
Well, I mean, without slant, there are none. I mean, it depends on what you consider news nowadays. Like, I don't consider any of them journalists. I mean, they're opinion pieces now. The closest thing we have to journalism, and this is going to upset some people, are people like Tim Pool, or people like Project Veritas, which I'm worried I'm going to get disbanded just by mentioning their name. But like, here's my thing: I want to see numbers and I want to see words. Yeah. Like, don't tell me Trump is a racist. Show me what he said that's racist. Don't tell me Biden's a pedophile. Show me what he did to make you think that. Now, I mean, I've seen plenty of evidence that leads me to believe this.
I don't think we can really deny that Biden has some weird thing with little kids. But I also, the thing is, and don't show me chopped up video showing that Trump's a racist. Like, the Charlottesville comments it's the biggest ruse ever pulled off by the media. Tim Pool is, I listen to his show every single day. And if I don't, I usually binge listen when I'm on my way to a soccer tournament or something. He's great. But other than that, I mean, there's really not much information, and we just have to kind of piecemeal it. Thing about him is he'll read outlets. He'll read everything from CNN to whatever, and the New York Post. And I think that that's where Catherine Herridge at CBS. I'm not familiar with her, Ruben. I'm going to look her up. She hot?
I'm going to look her up too. But here's my thing: I don't think these people can do it, though, dude. Like, do you think somebody on CBS or NBC can actually get a story out that's actually news?
If I recall, Herridge got in deep shit for reporting something fair about Trump. If I'm not mistaken, she's the one who reported something about Trump and it was right and it wasn't left leaning, and she got blasted on, and they tried to cancel her and everything. But it's a big club, and like politics, we're not a part of it. And the funny thing is, other than the main guys like the Lemon and the Cuomo, a lot of these people, they're not getting rich doing it. they're making $25,000 to $40,000 a year as reporters, journalists. They're not getting rich doing it. So they are, yeah, Ruben says that was her. They are literally doing this, trying to work their way up the ladder. So if you're in a company that espouses liberal values, or in the case of Newsmax or Fox, right-wing values, you're going to just go along with what your bosses think so you can move up the corporate ladder. Nobody wants to rock the boat because they're trying to move up. Because again, like, have you ever tried living on $35,000 a year? It's really hard. And I have good friends who went into journalism, and my brother's old roommate, he's worked for his entire life. He's had issues moving up the ladder because, well, I mean, just to not mince words, he's a white male, and it's really hard for white males to move up in news now. That's just my opinion. He's really good at what he does, or maybe he sucks. I don't know. But so that's but he's been working at it, and I know that he's been grinding just to get up to like $60,000 a year after 30 years of reporting.
That's crazy. After 30 years, you know,
yeah, like 30 years, and he's there. You know, he's not on a major show. He's not Tucker Carlson. He's not Don Lemon. He's not Chris Cuomo. You know, and that's how most of these people live. Like, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and they don't want to rock the boat because they're trying to work up the corporate ladder. They're playing politics, literally, to work up the corporate ladder. And, you know, so I fault them? I do, because I'm one of those guys. Like, I don't know if you saw my tweet, Alan, but this guy's like, well, my workplace is mandating the vaccine. I'm like, there's more jobs. There's other jobs. Like, there's I was listening to Dave Ramsey. I had to drive 7 hours to a soccer tournament, and Dave Ramsey, he's anti-mandating things. And he goes, you know, there's more jobs than you know what to do with. There's jobs. I have a buddy who owns a manufacturing facility, and they're giving line workers that literally screw lids onto bottles. That's all they do. $2,500 signing bonus just to start working. Wow. The YMCA down the street from my house has a $500 signing bonus. Now, when I was a kid, I remember I had to interview like 20 jobs to find a job stocking shelves because it was really hard as a kid to get a job. My daughter has friends who are 15, 16 years old making $18 an hour. I mean, as
insane.
And these people are doing this for jobs. Like, I can imagine, like, no, I can't. But let's say my brother, who's a senior VP, let's say he's making stupid fucking money. He has to really think about if he's going to give up stupid money. But then again, he can make stupid money elsewhere because he's obviously good at what he does, right?
Right.
So these people who are afraid of losing their jobs, I want 2 points, and I want you to go off because I'm talking too fucking much. I apologize. I've taken a lot of genetic and mental jewels. I'm overwhelmed. My brain is firing on all cylinders. I think I finally managed to control my ADD. So the one thing is, number one is, you know, you're working this job. You're making $50K a year, and that's literally the equivalent, I believe, of like $24 an hour for a full 40-hour week. That's not a lot of money. I mean, or if you don't like it, just get 2 jobs and make $18 an hour. You just increased your salary by 60%, or work a little bit harder. So not only are you doing that, so you're taking this experimental medical procedure, right? And you don't know what it's going to do long term, and you're against it. Like, if you want to take it to keep your job, all for it. Do it. It's your body.
Do it.
I agree. But if you hate it and you're like, I hate these people, okay, that's understood. Don't do it. Get a new job, find a way. But this is for a $50,000 job. Now, let's assume you're my brother. You have no contract. Every state in the union is at will employment, meaning that, and this happened to a friend of mine on my son's soccer team, one of the fellow parents on the team. She got the vaccine, and then the job fired her for something unrelated. And now she's having health effects. And I'm not posted about this, but she's like, hopefully she's listening to this. She's like, because I didn't tell her what I thought it was, and I don't have any proof it is what it was. But she's like, you know, I haven't had migraines in 20 years, and all of a sudden this year I've been having the worst migraines, to the point where she couldn't come to the arcade with us on Saturday night with the kids because her migraines were that bad. And the only variable that changes, I'm like, is there anything like variable, like anything you changed? No. And she didn't mention that I got I got the medical procedure. So I'm not saying that did it, but now she's not only having health effects that might or might not have been caused by it, but she has no job.
That's
because,
crazy.
So my advice, if you're going to get the medical procedure, is to negotiate a buyout.
Oh yeah,
a 3-year salary buyout if they're going to fire you, or at least 12 months, because they need you to work there. Like there's employment shortages. So I'm done. I'm going to sit back and sip my caffeine and get even more crazy.
Well, I mean, just to add on to what you got going on, I would if I was in a position where I couldn't move to a different state and I had to keep my employment, I would definitely want to have the company sign an agreement of liability.
Yes.
I mean, what if you're going to be like Oklahoma is doing a thing where if a company mandates it and the person gets ill, they owe the employee $1 million.
$1 million?
$1 million. Yeah.
Become the Oakland. See, I know you're a Florida man, and I appreciate that. But dude, Tennessee whooped your ass on mandates and masks.
Oh yeah.
Like we had that special session. So our school, we have a federal case that's going on. Basically, I'm trying not to be politically incorrect. So basically, the family of an autistic kid says he's at risk. So because he's at risk, he's not able to have a ADA. So everybody needs to wear masks because he's at risk. So we need tens of thousands of kids to wear masks because this one kid wants to go to school.
Well, it's the same premise as.
I mean,
it's the same premise as the mask for anything, dude. Like,
well, I'm a bubble boy. Like, put his ass in a bubble. I mean, why should all of us suffer? Because look, man, I mean, some people are afraid of heights. That doesn't mean we shouldn't never build 2-story houses, and the fact that these facial cloths, I'm trying to speak around the language,
right?
They don't, the evidence has shown that they don't really do much, or if anything at all. So if they worked, we could have a conversation. I have a conversation if it worked. Or if they fitted everyone properly for N95s and went through like 10 of them a day, I'd be like, okay, we could have that conversation. So anyway, so our school board got together, and against the superintendent's wishes, and I got to be careful here because he is kind of my boss because I do work for the school. I will just say I'm not a fan of him, and if he wants to fire me, I'm not getting paid anyway. But he said, no, we need to keep him on. And the school board voted. Now, we don't care about the federal legislature. Like, this is 10th Amendment stuff. We're going to follow what the legislature said. And as of Tuesday, and again, our kids opt out. All you have to do is have a religious exemption, and 99% of the kids have that. Our schools, I don't wear it because I have a religious exemption because I only put a cloth on my head, my yarmulke. So, I mean, I don't fuck with that facial stuff. And so, I mean, Florida has done a lot right. And I think DeSantis is just more vocal. But you got states like Oklahoma, Tennessee, know him before she went all weird. And I think she had reasons. I actually have changed my mind on that. South Dakota, because at the end of the day, she's still a politician. She still has to do political stuff that we don't understand because you and I are bulls in China shops. And we just run around and we just run over things, but we don't have to worry about re-election. I get it. But there's other states that are the unsung heroes of freedom.
I agree. Like, I'm still under the impression that the country in itself is much more free. Now, in speaking on that, Alyssa Milano, I know it sounds crazy, weird ADHD shift, just to show everybody how truly free people want to be and truly free of all this ridiculousness people truly want to be. She recently did a poll on 5 to 11-year-olds. Like, are you going to get your 5 to 11-year-old? Are you going to have them stuck or not? Like, and it was like the 3 choices, like, as soon as possible, as soon as if it's mandated, or never, right? And this woman has a huge following on Twitter, humongous, and you would think that her following would be supportive of this because politically that's what she supports, right? It was like 92% out of 174,000 votes said never.
Never,
like,
not if they're proven safe, but just never. There's no question. There's no point. That is profound. I did see that. I didn't look into it at all. And you got to wonder how many people is it like with if Cerno like tweeted how many of Cerno's followers went over there. But you would think with her followers that it would at least be 50-50, right?
Right. I mean, no matter what. And in reality, Twitter is very much on the left lean. I still think this is why YouTube's getting ready to take away the dislike button. And for people like me, I'm like, great. That means I get, man. I'm okay,
bro. I'm like, I mean, actually, they've been better now because all I do is talk about health and heart stuff. But when I used to do like opinion videos on like even mundane stuff, like building a chest, people get so mad when you present an opinion with science and they don't agree with it. They're like, no, well, this guy says this. And now Cali Muscle's out there saying that protein powder kills you. The guy walks around at 260 pounds, jacked out of his mind, taking diuretics because he had edema in his feet. And now he's telling people that protein powder is going to kill you. And I'm friends with Cali, and I watched a little bit of it, and I'm like, oh, man. The clickbait, I think he's just doing it for clickbait because that's going to cause controversy because people like me have to respond. I literally woke up, Alan, I shit you not, to 20 fucking DMs on if I'm killing people for my fucking protein powder. Fucking protein powder. Like,
first of all, I will say this, just to cut you off. If you've never tried MTS protein powder, I do not know how you flavor that stuff. I do not know what the fuck you do, dude. But Marc could flavor a pig's asshole and make it be awesome. And this is no shit. Like I do not know. Like the apple pie one is ridiculous, and your Planta is insane too. But on that note, are you like? Because I know he's your guy. I try not to pay too much attention to him because
I'm a nice guy. Like in real life, I have friends. Like I see these people at shows. We've done collaborations. Like I've been in the bodybuilding world for 20 plus years, and I have no enemies I know of. Like everybody from Guy Sister Nino to I found out Sean Roden died because Phil Heath texted me. And Brandon Curry's my business partner. It's like I love the sport, and we have a lot in common. Cali is a great guy, but I think there's a disconnect when people, like Phil Heath reads the science. Brandon Curry reads the science. I remember Brandon, we're training together, and he's just sitting there between sets. And with ADHD, that doesn't work for us. Right. And I'm like, Brandon, what the fuck, dude? Get your set. He's like, nope. I read a study that says that 3 minutes is what you need to rest between sets. And that was the last time I trained with Brandon because I was literally like bouncing off the wall.
Crazy.
It's like, hey, you trained Mr. Olympia? I'm like, man, I ain't got that kind of time, bro.
I would go crazy. 3 minutes in between sets, that would drive me insane.
Hey, man, but he's the best in the world. You take everything you can. When you're the best, like Cali doesn't compete on that level. But when you're Phil or you're Brandon and you read a study that says you can get 0.1%, Brandon literally won the Olympia. I'm not going to say how, like he won it. In my opinion and in many other opinions, but Brandon's a Mr. Olympia. He's literally 1% off at all times from winning or losing. So if he reads a study, he's going to read everything he can about how to build muscle. Whereas Cali is an influencer. And that's the problem with influencers. They influence, but they don't fucking read and they don't know science. Now you got guys, and that's where I'm going to actually flip the script here and say, that's why I kind of respect Greg Doucette is that not only has he obtained a pro card, but he reads the data or his data is read to him by his people. I don't care. He does address science and I respect that. Whereas Cali is like, for years he's telling people to eat tuna and ramen and he's doing these review videos, these, what do they call mukbangs or whatever?
Yeah, dude.
He's just eating Popeyes and churches and I ate one of everything from Taco Bell and it's just promoting an unhealthy lifestyle. And then when he comes out, even as someone I respect and love dearly, and I'm so happy he's alive, and says that protein powder, and there's a guy also who owns a supplement company. I don't know how much of it owns. Like there's an issue. Like Brandon Curry is 50% owner of 015. But most bodybuilder brands, they own less than 2% of it. It's just a face, or if any, most will own none of it. So we don't know if Cali owns 100%, 1%. But if you own a supplement company and you're complaining about the quality of supplements, be the actual change, be the treatment, don't be the disease. So you own a supplement company and you're shitting on the supplement industry. Wait a second. You just said that pre-workouts and protein powders cause your heart to explode. When you sell pre-workouts, like what the fuck?
That's just something I don't understand here, because here's reality. Like, times have changed. Like you brought up Doucette. I still think that he does what most people do. They speak out of their context. Now, I don't think he's a good person. I just don't. I think he just is trying to make his money. I don't shame him for that. But I will say this: two things. One, Instagram at one point in time, not too long ago, deleted his account, and I was one of the first people to say, I don't give a fuck what he said. He didn't say anything that should get his account deleted. And he got it back, which is good. But also, while it may be a little late, he started speaking out about mandates and restrictions and stuff like that. I'm good. I mean, me and you have talked about it before, and I mean this. Fucking V-Shreds could come out and start saying we shouldn't be locked down, and I would say something positive about him. That's no shit. Like, it's beyond. We've gone beyond all this bullshit. Like, and that's something me and you have talked about at length. I don't care what I used to think about people or say about people or anything like that. We are at a precipice. Like, we are at the apex of it is necessary to get healthy, and that's one of the things that I think that you bring to the table that other people don't. First of all, you take good care, like you take good care of Brandon. You know what I mean? Like, where other supplement companies necessarily don't. You know, they would take advantage of him instead of taking care of him. But beyond that, I have yet to see anybody reach into the bag of science and pull out like, okay, let's talk about heart health. Let's talk about this, that. I think you do a great service. So when people want to hate on you, it's just because they want to fucking hate on you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's something I say it's going to happen on social media. It doesn't matter if it's on YouTube or Trump's new thing, Truth Social, that's going to come out or anything like that. We are at such a stage where it's so people can't just be like, eh. And I think that's where me and you are just like different than everybody. Like the thing that you said, I don't like him. I think I don't like people that talk in fake characters. Probably because I wish I could. Probably because I wish I like. In reality, I wish I could turn this off occasionally because unfortunately, this is my personality sometimes. You know, like. But the thing is, I'm just like, when it comes to other people, I couldn't give a fuck less. Like I get requests to make V-Shreds videos every fucking day. I don't care about him. I just don't. I care about getting people healthy. And that's what you and I have been focusing on. That's what everybody should be focusing on at this stage. Like when we're actually considering telling people they have to do stuff for health, but yet not trying to get people healthy, I just have a hard time with it. You know, like I just absolutely do. There's so much going on in the world. Everything has to be like we're going to talk about the Rittenhouse kid. Everything has to be like people can't see the middle ever. Why the fuck is that? Because that's where me and you live. Like when I was at your house, our conversations were mostly like I see this side and I see this side. Like now some of it's just like that's some evil shit because it's all money and I can see it's all money. Like and I don't even want to bring up like that shit because we'll definitely get booted off. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you like this Rittenhouse thing. Like, what do you like? You have teenage children. Would you drop your teenage child off to a riot?
No, there were like, so you can't look at the extenuating circumstances of it being a bad decision. So it was a bad decision to be there, but this is a kid who, you know, with all things I've seen, like there's a kid who was like a junior deputy and a junior fireman, and there's a kid who has a hero complex. Yeah. And all of us do. Like when I was a kid, I thought I was fucking Captain America. Yeah. I was like, I'm Captain America, and I still have a hero complex. If there's a car pulled over on the side of the road, I'm the guy coming, hey, ma'am, how can I help you? I'm the guy who in shorts on the way to the gym wearing sneakers, got out of my car and was in literally 3 feet of snow and tried to get a woman out of a ditch. You know, that's me. I have a hero complex, but I'm also not an idiot. And look, I'm not in law enforcement, and I understand citizens need to take up and protect, and we've done that in the great city of Franklin, Tennessee. We heard rumors of Antifa being around, and the city folk got with the cops, and they organized with the police and formed a unified front. And guess who never came into our city and tucked tail and ran like bitches? Antifa. So I'm of the mindset that we do need to take matters into our own hand. However, running around alone, number three, like when you have kids and you have a child, Alan, you have a full grown child, but when you have kids, what you teach is the buddy system. Like I'm not going to let Thomas, you know, walk around the mall on his own when we're on a soccer tournament trip. But if he's with his friends, Will G and Andrew, and they're Dave and Buster's, I'm like, you guys stay together. And if anything happens, yell and then call me or find help, find an adult. And they know this. But what concerns me about Rittenhouse, and this is beyond, like, I honestly, I think he's innocent. I think he's not guilty. And I think he acted in self-defense. But also realize I haven't been in a fight since I was 16 years old, unless it was controlled in a ring. And in that case, I've been in thousands of rounds sparring. But I've never been in a fight because I avoid areas where I'm going to be in danger. I don't go to bars. I don't go to clubs. I don't go out late at night because that's when bad shit happens.
Right.
2 a.m., nothing good ever happens at 2 a.m. unless you wake up with a morning wood and your wife happens to wake up at the same time and you fuck.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than that, nothing good happens at 2 a.m. So I really think that, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and block Brandon right now. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just don't really like him.
It's not even that, like, it's just trying to take the opposite viewpoint. Like,
yeah, and no, I really think he believes what he's saying, and I don't like toxicity. So we just go ahead. He can still watch this, but he can't talk, because it takes us off of good people, because he's just going to argue, and it happened last time, and that's probably why we got fucking canceled.
Yeah, that was probably why we got.
It was probably Brandon's fault. Yeah, fuck that guy. So anyway,
let's go, Brandon.
Goodbye. So my thing is, I think he acted in self-defense, and that's what the case is about. The case isn't about a parent who let a 17-year-old out on the streets where a riot was knowingly taking place. However, once he was dropped into the enemy zone, okay, here's another one. Blocked him for difference of opinion. What happens to freedom, Marc? You know what? Because of that, I'm going to block you. I'm not getting in trouble, dude. These people are getting us in trouble, Alan.
And for real, you guys can come and try to say whatever fuck you want, but in reality, like Marc and I want to get our points across. And and this is no shit, we're gonna have to take a different stance when it comes to YouTube, because I am telling you this. They will start deleting videos and flagging channels for what happens in the comment section.
Because we get fired up and we start responding, and it's less controlled. And I don't want to I want to keep this channel. You know, we've only had a warning, so we're not saying anything out of line. So with Rittenhouse, my opinion, when he was in that zone, he handled himself as he should have. However, there's a couple things. One is he's alone. He's more likely to get attacked. I guarantee you if Kyle was with 5 or 6 homies, he wouldn't have gotten attacked like that, because what happens with mob mentality, the censorship is real. Yeah, it is. We're censoring people. You're right. Oh, for YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, the censorship. Yeah. You're right, Genosaurus. I'm sorry. Thought you were talking about us censoring other. No, we're not censoring. We're just blocking mean people, because we're very nice. So I think
those guys can create their own channels and make a video on us.
So I'd love it. We need the publicity. So my thing is with Kyle, and I want you to opine as well. I think that once he was in that enemy zone, he handled himself as best he could alone, and he warned them. And I like the prosecutor saying, fire warning shots. He realized that bullets land. Like, what goes up must come down. So instead of shooting his intended target, it might have hit a baby across the street, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and just shows you that liberals don't know gun safety. But my thing is, as a parent, Kyle, and again, this has no bearing on the case because he was there. Whether he should have been there or not is irrelevant. Now that he was there, did he act in self-defense? Absolutely, 100% Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent, in my opinion. Of course, I stole that from you. But should he have been there? I would have literally, if my son said, I'm going to go help out in a riot zone, or my daughter, I'd be like, you got to get past me, and I'm going to call Mike. I'm going to call Cannon. I'm going to call Alan. You got to get past all of us, because we're not letting you out of this fucking house because you're out of your fucking mind. And apparently the mom knew he was going. Yeah. So I think his mom needs to shut the fuck up. Yeah. She did a bad job of parenting.
Yeah. Dude, like, here's the thing. Watching this, because I watched a good bit of the trial, and they have no case. I mean, they know they have no case, especially because what they're trying to say about the firearm, he legally had the firearm. Like, he was allowed to have it. But I would never drop my kid off there. I will say, once he got in trouble, he handled himself like a boss. Because I mean, like, if it had Kyle killed people.
Yeah, I figure you can ramble onto that, but if your ADHD can let you get past what you're saying.
Yeah, I can.
So real quick. So if my wife is about to get raped and she has a firearm, she's not allowed to kill her assailant before he rapes her.
Right.
I just want to know your opinion on that of self-defense, because Kyle was clearly, it's not even debatable, acting in self-defense.
He was fleeing.
He was running.
I mean, he was running away, like, because that's the thing. Like, Let me tell you something. If I'm running away, if you know I'm armed, if you know I'm locked and loaded, and you are running after me, and I get cornered, and I turn, and you try to reach for my weapon, I'm giving you the lead first. I'm telling you that right now, because you're chasing me down. I'm trying to defuse the situation. I believe he tried to defuse the situation by running away, whether he was afraid or whether he was just doing it because he didn't want to hurt anybody, whatever. Now, the rest of what happened was kind of interesting, in that, like, I really believe he still handled himself really well. I mean, if people don't really realize this, at one point in time, he cleared a jam and stuff like that. I'll click on that so I can. He had a weapon and he shot. He should have talked to them and compromised them.
He tried. He absolutely tried. No, Joseph. I'm going to just put you in timeout because you can't be serious. I'm sorry.
You can't be that stupid.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Like, Mark, you and I, like, a lot of people on the left think that way. Like, you should talk yourself out of any situation. I'm going to let people know this, and you do. But I'm the type of fight
since I was 16 years old outside of a boxing ring.
I'm very much the type of person where if you are going to come at me, you better sharpen your motherfucking claws. Like, because this is no shit. I will leave no doubt that you should not have. Because I don't just want to get my message across to the person that comes after me. I want to get my message across to anybody else that's thinking like, and people. I don't think people understand, like, the situations that like especially, like, way more you than me. But, like, if somebody were to come after you, you don't have the opinion. You don't have the thought process to say, well, maybe they're going to be dangerous or not. I'm just going to assume it's dangerous. I have gotten plenty of threats to me that same. And so have you. I'm going to take it.
I carry too, so I'm in the same situation.
Yeah. And I let people I let people know, for real, I have received threats. Do not come to, like, if you find out where I live, do not come to my door unless you understand how I'm going to react. Do not approach me in public with aggression without thinking it's going to be met tenfold. Because my job is to provide for my family and to get home. My little job and the job that me and you are creating, I want to help millions of people get healthy. I want to try to save millions of lives, and from chronic illness, disease, being more susceptible to communicable diseases. I don't care. Like, I of course want to pay my bills, but I want to leave a legacy of helping people. My job is to make sure I can do that. But most of all, my job is to come home to my wife every day. Is to make sure that I'm there in the morning to wake up as long as I can until I'm an old ass man and it's just, my body just can't do no more. If you come at me or approach me and I'm going to try to defuse the situation. I don't go to bars no more. I used to be in a bar business. I don't go to bars no more for that reason. And if I go, I don't go without my wife, damn sure. And we don't go out late. We don't do any of that shit because, very frankly, why might there be trouble? And I'm one of those people, I'm a very unique look. People that watch my shit recognize me fairly easily in public.
Yeah.
And I don't do well with that shit. Especially if it's at the fucking pet store, walking up and screaming "goddamn" in my face. It's not hey, are you Alan Roberts? Be nice. Don't just walk up and scream "goddamn" in my face. It puts me on fucking edge. But
it's creepy.
Yeah, it's right. But my thing is what the fuck is wrong with you people? I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't have a safe society. The prosecutor's arguing that he loses the right to self-defense because he's armed. I don't even understand. Are they throwing the case on purpose or something like that? I don't even get that shit. I really don't.
I think they're throwing it to the with the evidence, hiding the evidence. It's it might be dismissed with bias, which means that mistrial with bias, which means they can't retry him because of what the prosecution did. It's almost like they threw the case because they had no case, unless they're just really bad attorneys, which is possible. They are state employees. And again, if you want to make money, you don't go into the public sector. Right. Their goal there is to get as many convictions as possible and become a DA. That's their goal, or become, move up the ladder. But I'm kind of, again, the decision to go there was a horrible decision. Yeah. But he was there and it happened. And now we have to decide if it was in self-defense, and it 100% was. And I will also say that we have been let down by police officers. We've been let down by law enforcement. We've been let down by the FBI. We've been let down by the National Guard. The fact that a 17-year-old kid had to go protect businesses while cops hid like little fucking bitches behind barricades while businesses burned down, that's a problem. My tax dollars go towards these cops. And these cops are such... And it's not the cops, it's their bosses who are like, no, we can't get involved. And how the fuck is this about Black Lives Matter, being that the 3 guys he shot were racist white guys who were yelling out the N-word?
Yeah.
Like, and they were pedophiles who raped kids.
The first dude?
Yeah.
That's another thing too. The justice system, how is he out? Like, and I know this one, I hope I don't get a ban for this dude, but like, I am very pro death penalty for fucking pedophiles, like extremely pro. This man anally raped children. I'm sorry, but that's when you put the animal down. You know, I mean, when you basically murder who a child was going to be because you violate them in that fashion, it is time for that person to not be in our society anymore. And I said that on one of my lives not too long ago, and somebody was like, well, you know, rehabilitate, but you know, blah 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 blah. I'm sorry,
sorry,
you cannot rehabilitate pedophiles. It is like, we need to start seeing this. That's part of the issue. Have you heard about this MAP thing, like that they're trying to push now?
What MAP?
Yeah, they have a fucking flag and everything. It's minor attracted person. You mean pedophile?
I've seen that. And I've actually opined on that. If you are admittedly a pedophile, I don't want you anywhere on this earth.
No.
To put it in layman's terms, like, minors or kids, but like, first of all, even if, let's say, they are consensual, kids have no reasoning skills. They just don't. In fact, our reasoning skills don't really come together till we're like 25. And that's why they were trying to move the driver's license age back to 18, because the reasoning skills are not fully developed in 16-year-olds, and they're not even fully developed in 18-year-olds, but they're further along. So to say that a child can be consensual to an adult, and if you're attracted to minors, there's, I really don't know what if somebody's, I mean, it's that is. I don't think you'd be born with that. I think that's something that's a form of psychopathy that comes forth, and I don't have the answer. But if somebody does act on that, and they admittedly are minor attracted persons, that's someone that I just don't want in my society as a person with children, because the only way you can act on that attraction to children is rape.
Yeah.
Because
it's so horrible.
They're trying to normalize pedophilia, which is fucking scary.
Yeah.
And that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen.
The scary part is like these people are trying to attach themselves to the LGBTQ alphabet community. And I say alphabet community, I don't mean to fucking be like offensive to anybody. I'm
very pro-gay. I'm very pro-gay. I have so many gay, and I'm not just saying this, like, I have so many gay friends.
No.
People, if you are, look, dude, and it's not genetic. I mean, I'm sorry. It's not societal. It's not nurture. You're gay. Like, I've made this in a podcast before. Like, if I walk into I've been in many locker rooms with dudes, and I'm never like, dude, I really want to put that penis in my mouth.
Yeah.
If you take me into Lifetime Fitness's girls' locker room, I'm getting a boner. Like, it is what it is. And that's just because I'm hardwired to be attracted to females. You can't think yourself gay. No. You're either fucking gay or you're fucking straight. And I don't believe I had a religious guy. I was doing a ride along with the distributor once who was really religious. He was trying to convince me that being gay was cool and that it wasn't genetic or it wasn't inherent, that it was learned. And I'm like, and I gave him that example. And these are the people who believe in being able to rehabilitate gayness. Look, if you like guys and you're a guy, find a guy, get married, because you get married now and have a great life. I've been pro-gay marriage since I was a kid. Like,
oh, me too.
I mean, if you want to get married to a dude, like, do it. You know, I'm cool with that. I don't like dudes, like, not in that way, but I who am I to say who you should be attracted to? Like that's a preference. However, those are consenting adults. Once you get to minors, and another thing is like the LGB community has been hijacked also by the T. And that's the one that's kind of scary, because a lot of the people on the L's, the lesbians, you know, they're feminists. So all this movement that we've had towards women's rights and all this, now we have men winning Women of the Year. And that, I think that there's a lot of lesbians, at least the lesbians and gay people I talk to, who are like, no, I don't know. Like, we're all for people like thinking there's something else. That's fine. But you can't actually win the awards.
No. I mean, I always, you know, I try to break it down to logic, dude. If there's nothing wrong with being trans, why can't we have a Trans Person of the Year award? I mean, why does it have to be women or men? Like, because, and no matter what the person looks like, no matter what surgery you have, chromosomes exist. I mean, like, chromosomes are a real motherfucking thing. Okay. Like, I mean, it is actually how your body's going to go. Like, as a newsflash to everybody, there are many medical things that can go wrong with a person that even if they look like a woman but they were born a man, they look 100% like a woman. It's the best plastic surgeon ever in the history of ever. And, you know, they don't have any facial hair, nothing like that. Hormones, blah, blah, blah. There are things that can go wrong with you that when you go to the doctor, you need to let them know what you were born as.
Yeah. Period. Yeah. My wife, we were just having this conversation, and my wife, I know TMI, but I just don't care. For her whole, since she was 15 years old, whenever she started, my wife has the super heavy periods, super heavy. And the only time it was exacerbated was when I would never do birth control. But when we were teenagers, she took birth control pills, which I would never condone her taking now, or she would never take, knowing the side effects of them. Right. Birth control pills are absolutely terrible. So anyway, that's the only time she had normal periods. So my wife, for 1 to 2 days a week, is lethargic, feels ill. A month. Yeah. It's 1 to 2 days in a week of the period, because it's about a 7-day period. Yeah. I'm talking like she used to go through, they have different, like now she uses a Diva cup, which is much healthier. It basically catches the blood and you dump it out. It's disgusting, but it's way better for you, because the bleach cotton leaks out into it's a membrane. And it causes illness. Tampons are also bad for you. I'm a vaginal expert. So she has these horrible periods. I mean, horrible. When we first got together, I'm fucking 16, 17 years old, going to the store, buying the Super Plus tampons, which is basically like sticking an entire fucking MyPillow in your vagina. And I'm like, all right. So my wife was talking to the guy who won the contest for this, right? And he was pretty based. And she's like, look, here's my problem. She's like, dudes are saying they can have periods. She's like, no, you fucking can't. Like, I literally can't move for 2 days a month because I'm bleeding so hard. And like, if you start bleeding from your penis, that's a fucking problem. You know, and my wife's going off about this. So if I was a woman, I'd be like, men can give birth too. Have you ever passed a watermelon through your fucking pee hole? Oh, I've seen that shit, dude. The vagina goes from the most amazing, tight, fucking beautiful area to this gaping fucking hole and that a real life person fits through. And you're telling me that you know what it's like to be a woman? That is insulting. Women go through shit that we can't even imagine. So if I just came in tomorrow like that Olympic weightlifter who at 36 magically decided he was a she, with bald spot, with balding hair, and not even trying to look like a woman, I'm not a woman because I think I'm a woman until I have bled for a quarter of my life and not died, until I have the ability or have the plumbing to pass literally a fucking watermelon through my pee hole. Okay. I do not have any perspective. And that is not an insult to, if you want to be trans, but you don't know what it's like to be a woman. You just don't, because women have it fucking tough. They just do. Like, our shit is easy. Like, it's easy. Like, it's an external appendage and we can stand up and pee. And if we get pee on ourselves, we don't get a fucking bladder and a fucking urinary tract infection. Right. Like, there's a lot of things that go with being a woman, dude.
Well, just in difference in growing up too. Like, I mean, like in development, like, well, and you've met my wife. My wife is a small person. Like she kind of fibs and says she's 5'1". She's 5 feet tall. Like, she's a tiny person, right? Well, like, imagine her being like 14 years old. She was like 4 foot something. You know what I mean? Like, when I was 14 years old, I was 5'10". You know what I mean? Like, and I'm developing, you know, like, so imagine like what they like, their perspective growing up is very different than what a boy's perspective is because of hormones and like puberty is puberty is a massively different experience for male and female. Massively different.
Owners in science class. By the way, Alyssa Milano, I used to jerk off to her like this quite a bit. It's quite unfortunate she became crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
you know my favorite whack off person was when I was a kid? You got to guess this. You're going to guess it.
Punky Brewster.
Saved by the Bell, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Kelly Kapowski.
Many like the Voorhees girl too.
Dude, yeah. Dude, it was like you had a choice. You had like 3 or 4 girls on there that were definitely spank material. And when you're 13 and you're like, we didn't have the internet, so we had to be resourceful. I remember the Sears catalog.
Sears catalog was proper. No shit.
They'd have lingerie section. Like, where's the lingerie section? And then you're in the fucking lawnmower section. Like, oh my God, what do I do?
Times have definitely changed. My wife and I were talking about that too, because my wife and I got together like before social media became very popular. You know what I mean? Can you imagine what these kids got to fucking go through? It's such a crazy thing. I really believe it's why we're at where we're at. Like, for many people like me and you, we want to be able to go out and do things, be social, like be around people. Like, I don't even want to be around people that much. You've met me. Like, I want to be around my friends. Yeah. You know, me and my friends go do our shit, right? Yeah. Most of these folks don't socialize. Like,
my kids are amazing. My kids, they're never home. My daughter has literally, she's straight from school. She goes to wrestling. She goes to weight training 4 to 5. 5 to 6:30, she has wrestling. 7 to 9, she has soccer. And she's with people the whole time. And my son, same thing. He has wrestling, and then he has that, and then he goes to boxing. And on weekends, they're usually training with their friends. Like, it's Friday and Saturday night. I take my kids to Lifetime with me, and we spend time together. I have the perfect kids. Like, I don't know if it's nurture or nature or a little bit of both, but man, I am best friends. Like, I spent all weekend with my son, and instead of going out with the big group of kids, like him and one of his friends from the team, because the other parents drink, and the mom she had her migraine, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to Dave and Buster's. Like, why don't I just take our kids and we keep them away from that bad influence? And we had such a good time, man. I mean, they kicked my ass in those video games, and I think this is a good time to transfer over to lifestyle. If you're okay with that, because this is a wheelhouse, and this is what we literally love. From David Friedberg's dog. Hey, Mark and Alan, I'm 300 pounds, want to lose weight. Is losing 5 pounds a week too ambitious? Alan, this is your wheelhouse, man, the morbidly obese, because this is morbid. He's morbid.
Yeah, I would say that is a little aggressive. It depends on what you're doing. At the very beginning, losing anywhere between 0.5 and 2% of your body mass is what you should look for. A lot of what you got going on, if you just change your nutrition slightly, because at 300 pounds, you're eating like shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, I mean, even 300-pound bodybuilders eat like shit.
You have no choice. I've tried to get up above 240, and I had to dirty it up. And even then, I stopped at 238. If you're any bit, and also I will say, he's got to be inactive as fuck. Yeah. Because, I mean, to get that big, you not only have, like, if I eat shitty, but I train and I do cardio, and I have great genetics, but even really fat people, like, you're going to have trouble gaining. So you need to move more neat. Yeah. Try to fidget a little bit. Like, fidgeting.
Well, as a good suggestion, set your watch to 50 minutes on the hour. Stand up for 10 minutes every hour. Get some ambient activity. Like, at 300 pounds, most average dudes are not, like, you're not ready for serious physical activity. You're not. Like, you need to start walking, standing up more often. Swimming would be fucking phenomenal. Clean your nutrition up. Don't worry about as much the calorie count. Whereas right now you're eating like complete garbage. Yeah. I would say try to go for like the 90 to 95% rule, meaning 90% to 95% of your food comes from whole foods, vegetables, fruits. I would honestly suggest focus on protein first. If you're going to taste anything that tastes sweet, take it later in the evening. Nothing you eat, this is an important factor. Nothing you eat when you're trying to lose weight should be just for pleasure. I mean, like even the food I eat for pleasure right now, I rarely on occasion will have like something that is a dessert just for pleasure. But even when I eat something sweet now, it's like normally just it has good nutritional quality to it. Like your outright bar has protein and it's made from honey and stuff like that. But if you just are having like sugar in your morning coffee, that's for pleasure. There's no nutritional value besides the carbs in it. 5 pounds a week. If you can at the very beginning, you'll probably lose 5 or 8 pounds your first week or two, just from increased hydration, making sure your hydration is doing better, and just changing up your diet because you'll inherently eat less sodium. I had somebody argue with me that steak has too much sodium in it. I'm like, motherfucker, you eat McDonald's. I don't want to hear shit. Like, I would focus on far less the actual weight loss goal. I would focus way more on the lifestyle changes than the weight loss goal. At 300 pounds, bro, you don't even need to step on a scale for a little while. You just need to focus on what you're eating and what you're doing. Like, I mean, the scale takes care of itself. Right now, this dude and anybody else who's 300 some pounds eats like shit. You're eating food that is going to cause you to be hungrier. That's going to cause you to be more inflamed. You're already 300 pounds, so you're inflamed as fuck right now. You're like, if you're an average height dude or woman, because David Ferbert's dog, we don't know if you're male or female, but we just know David Ferbert. But if you are,
I'm guessing dude. It's a big chick.
Well,
I've seen a lot. To echo what you said, and I just want to add this in because I bring it down to stupid level. I think that eating healthy, being healthy, is the goal. And being sexy is a side effect, because if you live a healthy life and you exercise, you eat whole healthy foods, your body will take care of itself.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I suggest you do instead of stepping on the scale every single day, as you eat, everything you eat 2 hours after you eat it, write down in a journal how hungry you are. Okay. So on a scale from 0 is your favorite food is in front of you and you can't eat it because you're too full. And 10 is your least favorite food is in front of you and you just will eat it at volume because you're starving. Check out what you're eating and how hungry it makes you. If it's 2 hours after you've eaten a substantial meal, after you've eaten a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, if it's 2 hours after that and you are hungry, like you're at like a 6 or 7, 8 hunger, you have eaten something at that meal that has caused some sort of glycemic response in your body that you are hungrier. I would suggest that maybe even if it's healthy food, like actual whole food, like I eat sweet potatoes in the evening because if I eat it for breakfast, I'm hungry all day long, right? So find out teach yourself what makes you hungry and what satiates you. That's some of the important stuff right there. Because if you don't, you are going to constantly be hungry, and hunger is the evil. Hunger is the enemy, because people eat in a way that makes them hungrier, and then they can't control their eating, and then the very second they get too hungry, they go back to their quick and easy things. And in our society today, quick and easy is unhealthy,
Always. I just wanted to say for Michael, I suggest you go back and listen to our other podcasts that haven't been deleted off the site. Both Alan and I are healthy individuals. We're not in the at-risk group. And the what you're speaking of, this medical procedure, does not prevent the spread nor getting this novel condition, novel sickness. So I encourage you, Michael, to read up on the science, read up on the actual data, not what you hear on CNN. And I do not encourage getting it. I encourage talking to your doctor. It will not need to be mandated because we have guns in America. I'm not sure what country you're in, but if they come here with a needle, I'm going to come out with something a bit more powerful, and my neighbors will as well. And as for cases going high, I encourage you to look at Florida versus New York. Florida has no mandates for the facial cloths, and it has no mandates for the for anything for the medical procedure either. And they also have no passports. And if you look at, I believe it's 10 times the rate in New York than you have in Florida. I would encourage you to look at actual data and statistics and come to a better conclusion. I am sorry that you have been misled by propagandists, and I am sorry that that you feel that you're right about it, but you're absolutely incorrect, sir.
I'm gonna take a different approach, dude.
And there will be, and I'm being nice, and there will be no mandates in the great state of Tennessee. We've already had a special session led by our legislature that was signed into law by our governor, Governor Bill Lee, and also enforced by the local mayors, saying that we will not have any mask nor shot mandates in the great state of Tennessee. It has been outlawed. So I recommend that you stay out of Tennessee because we are obviously super spreaders. And I recommend that you never step foot anywhere where we believe in freedom and the right to our bodily autonomy.
People say we might. Like, why might we? Who determines what we might need to do? Like, as far as I'm concerned, the Constitution determines that shit. Like, we might. Why? Because you're afraid? And this is no shit. This is not to sound super evil. We might because people might die. People die all the time. I'm sorry. I mean, as somebody that worked around death in elderly people for a long time, people die all the time. That Mark and I talk about health to avoid it. Like, I mean, Mark just released an amazing antiviral supplement. Amazing. Like, amazing. I mean, dude, boom, amazing. Mark and I have things working to help all of you try to help manage your weight and stuff like that we'll be talking about soon. You guys need to understand that you might, like, you need to, if you need to, you can do it. If it works so well, it will be good. And wear a mask. It's time. Like, come on now. I mean, this guy's got to. I can't take people like this seriously.
So Michael, I want to know what top scientists you're referring to, because there's many top scientists, including the man who invented mRNA, who says that this will kill many, many people. We're already seeing an uptick, and no pun intended with the word tick, an uptick in heart problems and heart issues with athletes. I believe it's 60-fold. You have soccer athletes in Germany dropping dead on the field. And also locally, you have Aaron Rodgers literally playing 5 days after being diagnosed with it by taking some, antiviral replication supplements and also taking the Joe Rogan cocktail. And then you have Ben Roethlisberger, who has the shot, who had it and who got it as well. So what I'm suggesting is that you do what's best for you. And I am not going to promote getting it. I'm not going to promote taking something that might hurt somebody. What if somebody with muscular dystrophy listens to our podcast and they go, oh, well, Marc Lobliner and Alan Roberts, who are health experts, not doctors, I want to say we're not doctors, say that we need to get this procedure done. And they get it done and they end up getting really sick and or dying. What if somebody with a genetically predisposed large heart, maybe from doing steroids or from being an athlete earlier in their life, or somebody with an unknown blood clotting disorder takes it and ends up getting really sick and or dying? That would be on us. That death would be on our blood, would be on our hands. And that is why from the beginning, we say talk to your doctor. But we have talked to our doctors. I have my doctor. My doctor's word, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is almost dead on. No pun intended with dead again. This is almost spot on. Was under any circumstance, you should never take that, and I'm going to rephrase, medical procedure because of what you've done in the past and where you are now, and also because you are not at risk and you've already had the virus. And for you, it didn't even present symptoms other than leg soreness, which I admit could have been just from a crazy leg day, but it could have just made my leg day hurt more. So why would me, somebody who has natural immunity and also somebody who literally creates supplements to prevent viral replication, why would I take a risk of taking and remember, this has only been out for a year. We don't know what happens long term. We do know that the spike proteins can enter your reproductive system. We do know that the spike proteins can enter your heart. And we'll just go on and Alan, I respect your opinion, but your guy Trump. Okay, first of all, I don't like Trump. So Trump is a procedure pushing piece of shit. I don't like Trump, and unless he's the only one riding against Biden, and the side effects are minimal. No, I'm not coming together. In fact, I've had enough of you, so I don't have to read your comments. I'm putting you in timeout.
Real quick on that, dude. I even posted something on Twitter the other day showing that even back when this was a Trump thing, before we knew what the election was, I was like, I'm not fucking taking it. Like, there's not enough. It is not dangerous enough. 99.9% safe. But the argument besides the whole beer flu was that even though it's 99.9% survivable, what about if everybody gets it, then the death toll is too much? Well, the same thing for the jibby jab, and my thing is like, it's personal responsibility. It's personal health, man.
And it's not going to prevent me. Like, let me take risks because it's not going to prevent me from getting and or spreading it. And Aaron Rodgers, being that he's around only people who've had it pretty much, he got it from someone who was jabbed. So my thing is, dude, why does it matter if I get it or not? I'm not going to push an unproven, and I'm not a doctor. Who am I to recommend this? And I've never said do or don't take it. I told you why I'm not going to take it. I told you why my family's not going to take it. Never once. And I encourage you to go in everything I've said on Twitter, everything I've said on Facebook, everything I've said on every video I've ever done, even everything I've said to my wife personally, because they're listening. Yeah. I encourage you to find a time when I said to take it or not to take it. Mm-hmm. The only time I will say don't take it is if you're a child. Any parent who gives their children this shot needs to be put in jail because children do not need to take the unnecessary risk. But I do not want people. And one more thing. I do not know where caring about my health and caring about your health made me a Trump supporter.
Yeah, I that's my thing. Like, I
don't like that.
I'm on open video saying like we have the choice between two creepy old men. Don't get me wrong. His policies I thought went well for 4 years. I really do. I'm not for the most part.
He's not a good person. He's not a good person.
He was super weak on the whole pandemic thing. Super weak. And I can't get behind that. I think we should move on to younger people, Michael will go look at the Mayo Clinic and study the studies with the jabbies over 6 months.
Well, the thing is, they don't need data. They just need somebody who's paid for by the government, like this bitch from the CDC and the F word. I can't say anything. And I didn't mean to call her a bitch. I meant to call her just an insincere, lying, flip-flopping woman, just like the F word that ends in ouchie. At the end of the day, because I did get a warning on my main channel for saying something about the F word with ouchie at the end, because they protect his ass like nothing else.
Yep, no shit.
So look, dude, the data doesn't matter. What matters is what their propagandists say. And that's the problem, is that everybody keeps pointing to data, but when we show data that's better, they're like, well, that data doesn't matter. And then they just go to the whole, like, either you're racist or which I have no fucking idea how that works, or you're a Trump supporter. And that, honestly, us even addressing that just takes us off focus. Like, Trump supporter is basically a way to keep us from actually addressing the issue. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing we've ever done that has signaled us to be Trump supporters. Now, I did vote for Trump. That doesn't make me a supporter. That makes me a fuck Biden guy.
I said openly, I'm never going to vote for somebody that's going to run on a platform of mandation. Yeah. Like if you're running on a platform against the Constitution of the United States, I'm not voting for you.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty cut and dry, and we don't really mince words, and we don't play that shit. Like, I'm not a Republican, and I know Alan's not a Republican. We're independents. What I am is somebody who cares about your health, who cares about my health, and who cares about society in general. And that's why I give 30 hours a week to coaching kids, because I want society to be better. So that's pretty much where we're at. So we're about an hour and 10 in. That was we have a lot. I mean, we have to come back Friday. We have a lot more.
Hell yeah. Listen, to anybody that doubts all that stuff, here's my biggest thing. Like, the arguments we're getting into, this is my final thing. It's just semantics, right? Like, people are like, we should do this, we should do that, we should do this. If you look at who is in danger, we should protect them. Like I said at the very beginning. Besides that, bro, like let people live. Like, we're causing more damage to society than is warranted by the danger presented. That's all. And Friday, we can talk more shit.
Yeah, I think, but yeah, we have, I encourage everybody to go to Spotify. I'll put the link down below and subscribe to us on there, because YouTube it's not going to be a long-term thing. I can see. What I do like about YouTube is we can interact and we can talk to people. We have the chat, and also we can block people, which is fun.
Yeah.
Temporary blocked. I only permanently blocked a couple people. But, the thing is, like, if you come out, like, anytime someone speaks up against freedom, I just don't want them in our chat. And because they don't like freedom anyway, so why not censor them? I figure I'm just giving them what they want. If the government can tell you to put something in your body, then I could tell you to get the hell off the channel. So I figure if anybody likes totalitarianism, we'll give it to them.
I've been censored so much in the last 2 years. People bitching about being blocked can fuck off. I mean, like,
can't be Americans though. Like, nobody in America, like, it's like they're just, I mean, look at these things. It's just absolutely crazy. But nonetheless, we'll end it there. Xavier, just because you said that, I'm gonna go ahead and block you because you like totalitarianism. Yeah, we'll just print it next time. Anyway, thanks so much, guys, for watching. Alan, so Alan can be found. Your YouTube channel is
Alan Roberts, or the MFing COO at Instagram and Twitter, and the Alan Roberts on the TikTok thing.
Yeah, I'm at the Spotify link. Chi-Town Biker will be in the description within the next 10 minutes. All right, I'm going to get some work done. I got a coach today. Alan, thanks so much for the time, brother.
All right, I'll message later. We'll talk about the other stuff.
Yes, sir. We'll see you soon, guys.
Bye.